At my retirement party, my son pulled me aside and said, "Now that you're done working, how about signing over the house?" I laughed, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. That weekend, I got served with a notice he was suing me for emotional labor damages. His claim? That he'd supported me through his childhood and deserved compensation. "You always said this house would be ours. You never specified when." I'm 67. Just retired after nearly 4 decades at the same tool plant in Dayton, Ohio. I worked machines, fixed them, trained new guys, kept quiet, and got things done. I was the kind of worker people don't notice until something breaks. They gave me a sheet cake on my last day. Store-bought. Chocolate. A handful of guys clapped. A couple said nice things. I wasn't expecting much. I just wanted to go home, take off my steel-toe boots, and maybe sleep for a week. Right at the end, my son Mason showed up. He's 30 now. Works online, or so he says. Always on his phone. Always talking about audience reach and crypto trends. I don't understand half of what he says anymore, but I still smile and nod, hoping to stay connected. That day, he gave me a hug, looked me in the eye, and said, "Proud of you, Dad. You made it." I felt a lump in my throat. He doesn't say stuff like that often. I thought maybe he was finally seeing all the years I put in. As folks started packing up, he asked me to step outside. We stood in the parking lot. His hands were in his pockets, bouncing like they always do when he's nervous. He looked at me and said, "So, now that you're done working, how about signing over the house?" I chuckled. "What? The house?" he said, dead serious. "You always said it'd be ours someday. You never said when. Why not now?" I squinted at him. "You're joking, right?" "No. You're done working. You've got your pension. You can go live small. Maybe move somewhere cheaper. You said the house was for the family." That's when I realized he meant it. I told him flat out, "You're not getting the house." He didn't yell. He didn't argue. Just nodded. "Okay. You'll see." I didn't sleep much that night. Thought maybe it was a bad joke. A weird conversation I'd overreacted to. Then Saturday morning came. I was trimming the hedges, same as always. An SUV pulled up. A man in a windbreaker stepped out and handed me a thick envelope. "You've been served." At first, I thought it was a scam. Or maybe something from the HOA. Then I opened it. It was a lawsuit. From Mason. He was suing me for something I'd never even heard of. Emotional labor damages. In the complaint, he said I had forced him to emotionally support me throughout his childhood. That I used him like a therapist. That I burdened him with adult stress. And left him no room to grow. He wrote that because I raised him alone, without a mother, I transferred my emotional weight onto him. That he'd carried it all and deserved compensation. He wanted the court to give him my house, and a portion of my pension, and a written apology. I sat down right there on the curb, still holding the hedge clippers. I felt sick. My stomach turned to knots. I'd never cried in public before. That day, I came close. The worst part? Some of it wasn't completely false. Mason was 7 when his mom left. Just vanished. No goodbye. No visits. She just mailed divorce papers and disappeared. I raised him by myself. He saw me cry sometimes. He heard me talk about bills. I told him the truth when I was scared or tired. I didn't want to lie to him. I never thought I was hurting him. I thought I was being honest. I went to every parent night. Made his lunches until high school. Paid for Little League, braces, and prom tux rentals. When he couldn't get a job after college, I let him live at home rent-free for 2 years. I even gave him $5,000 to invest in some online thing that flopped. And now he was suing me. I called him that night. He didn't answer. Sent a text that said, "You'll hear from my lawyer." I thought I raised a man. Turns out I raised a vulture. I didn't sleep that night. I walked through the house for hours, checking the locks even though I knew no one was coming. Every room held a memory. Every creak in the floor was one I'd fixed myself. This was my house. I bought it with overtime and skipped vacations. And now my own son was trying to take it from me like it was a toy he was owed. Monday morning, I called a lawyer. Her name was Karen Patel. Tough as nails. She'd handled my divorce 20 years back and remembered me. I told her what happened. She didn't laugh. That scared me more than anything. "Stranger things have happened," she said. "The way courts are now, especially with emotional damages cases, we need to treat this seriously." It's not just nonsense anymore. We filed a response, denied every claim, filed a motion to dismiss. But the judge agreed to hear it. Meanwhile, Mason started talking. He posted a long thread online, screenshots of old birthday cards I'd written him. One where I'd said, "You're the only reason I keep going." He twisted it into something dark, calling it proof of emotional parentification. He painted me as some emotionally damaged father who dumped his trauma on a helpless kid. And people believed him. His followers started commenting. One wrote, "Parents like this ruin their kids and think love is enough." Another said, "He deserves that house. Sounds like he raised you." I sat in my chair, reading those words, shaking. Then I found something worse. He'd set up a GoFundMe, called it Fighting for My Freedom. The story was all there. Half-truths, twisted facts, and outright lies. He said I guilt-tripped him his whole life, made him a live-in emotional sponge, and now was holding on to wealth as punishment. He raised over $30,000 in a week. The comments there were even worse. Strangers were calling me a narcissist, a manipulator. One woman said, "My dad did this too. I hope you win, Mason." I wanted to scream. I started digging, looking through old emails, photos, anything to remind myself I wasn't crazy, that I was a father doing the best I could. Then I found something that changed everything. An old flash drive. Mason had given it to me years ago to back up his college work. I never deleted it. Inside, I found video files. One of them was from his senior year. He was sitting in front of a webcam ranting, saying things like, "If I don't graduate this semester, my dad's gonna flip." I told him I switched majors again, but I lied. "I'm failing. I've been using his money for other stuff." Another file had him bragging to friends over Zoom. I told my dad I was depressed and needed rent money. He bought it. "I'm not even living at home anymore. I just keep cashing the checks." He laughed. They all did. My hands shook as I watched. My chest felt tight. He hadn't just lied now. He'd been lying for years. I drove straight to Karen's office with the flash drive. She watched the clips in silence. When they ended, she looked at me and said, "We're not just defending now. We're going on offense." She filed a countersuit within the week, fraud, defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress. It wasn't just about pride anymore. It was about making sure the truth got out. We sent a cease and desist to the GoFundMe, demanded it be shut down, included the video evidence. Within days, the campaign was frozen. Funds locked. Mason posted another update saying it was a targeted attack from an abuser trying to silence him. His followers doubled down. But then something unexpected happened. I got a message from a woman named Kylie. She was Mason's ex-girlfriend from a couple years back. Said she saw the lawsuit and needed to talk. We met at a diner just outside of town. She told me Mason had always said the house was his. That once I kicked the bucket, he'd flip it and move to Austin. He joked about it so often she thought he was kidding. Until one night, during a fight, he screamed, "That house is mine already. He just hasn't died yet." Kylie handed me a screenshot from her old phone. It was a message Mason had sent her when they were together. It read, "I'm gonna squeeze him. I've done enough pretending. If he doesn't hand over the deed, I'll drag him through court." Trust me, people love a good emotional abuse story. I stared at it for a long time. This wasn't a confused kid trying to heal. This was a plan. A setup. Karen added the messages to our case. Submitted everything to the court. Then something else hit me. His old laptop. He'd left it in the attic when he moved out. I found it wrapped in a flannel shirt, battery dead, screen cracked. I brought it to a tech guy down the street. He powered it up. What we found sealed it. Dozens of video diaries. Journal-style rants. Half therapy, half strategy sessions. In one, he rehearsed different ways to cry on camera. In another, he said, "People eat this stuff up. Father wounds, emotional damage, daddy issues, it sells. I just have to stick to the script. I'll win the narrative." He was treating it like a performance. A show. And I was the villain. We pulled clips. Karen prepped our case. And then, right before the first court hearing, Mason made a mistake. He called me. I didn't answer right away. Just stared at the phone. But something in me needed to hear it, needed to know if there was even a piece of him left that remembered who raised him. I picked up. "Dad," he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. "I know things got messy. But we don't need court. We can fix this. Let's just talk man to man." I said nothing. I was just trying to stand up for myself. He went on. "You leaned on me too hard when I was a kid. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe you did too." I finally spoke. You lied to everyone. You called me a manipulator. A monster. There was silence. Then he said, "Look, just sign over the house and we can end this. You walk away clean. I drop the lawsuit. You keep your pension. Let's not make this uglier than it has to be." That's when I knew. He never wanted to fix anything. He just wanted to win. "You want it ugly?" I said. "You got it." I hung up. Court day came. The room was packed. His online followers showed up with little signs and buttons. One of them even wore a shirt that said, "Free Mason," like it was a damn movement. Mason sat at his table in a sharp suit, smirking. But then Karen stood up, played the videos, the messages. The clip where he said, "I just have to stick to the script." The room went dead silent. Mason's face drained of color. He looked around, suddenly realizing those signs weren't going to help him anymore. When Kylie testified, people gasped. When Karen read the quote about me kicking the bucket, a woman in the back started crying. By the time it was over, even his lawyer looked ashamed. The judge dismissed his case. With prejudice. Then they ruled on ours. We won. Defamation, emotional distress, and fraud. He owed me over $200,000 in damages and legal fees. But there was one last part. The house. The judge issued a protection order. Mason couldn't come within 100 feet of it. Or of me. He stormed out of the courtroom. His little crowd didn't follow him this time. It's been 7 months since then. He vanished off the internet. Last I heard, he was living in a basement in Columbus, doing odd jobs. GoFundMe refunded the donations after I showed them the evidence. People turned on him. His followers called him a scammer, a fraud. Some even sued him. Me? I fixed up the house, repainted it, changed the locks, took back every room he ever claimed. I planted tomatoes out front, just because I can. Sometimes I still walk through it late at night. Sometimes I still cry, because I made mistakes too. I should have protected him from my problems. Should have kept more of that weight off his shoulders. I didn't know what I was doing back then. I just wanted to survive. And I thought love was enough. But love doesn't pay for lies. It doesn't excuse betrayal. I raised a boy who learned to fake pain for profit. And now? He's got nothing. And I've got peace. At last.